Now, it has been brought to my attention that there's a lot of players that are either ill-advised or misinformed about, wait for it, boom, about with all these itty-bitty little icons that sometimes they just mesh together and they all look the same and you have no idea what's going on because sometimes they're there and sometimes they're not there. They just pop in and out like our tunes need to do, clearing hot stages and all. If you've been around the channel for long enough, you know what that's from. So yeah, we're going to be talking about these things. I think a lot of players, they just they get an idea of a rotation. Someone's told them rotation, they just do it, but they really don't know exactly why. And I think this is going to be important because knowing how all these things work and what they do, it's going to allow you to maybe improvise a little bit better, maybe discover your own even better rotation than what you've actually been told, what you've been fed, or find out some secret buffs that are just sitting there, and so on and so forth. And a note on that. So I'm going to show you something that is it's a little fishy, and I think there's a buff that's disappearing when it's still actually being applied. In talking about rogue here, I think that may in fact actually be the case. So what I went ahead and did was I went on Google Sheets and I made this guy here, this just this little doc that I started adding different buffs. It doesn't have all of them, by the way. This is going to be something that I kind of add to as time goes on. Whenever I have time, whenever I think about it, I'm going to throw more up there. But I put so let's see, how many are there? There's 13 on here, and I think these may be like some of the most important, or just a lot of them that just kind of came to mind that I feel like deserve some initial recognition. And so I'm gonna put this in a channel on Discord. I think Cynic Alex, I think he has something like it's like his master guides or something like that. Actually, when I was a new player, that's something that I referred to. What was I looking up? I was looking up, the cost of, he's got something on, it's like the total cost of native tier 2 characters and stuff like that. Yeah, when I was a newer player, I would head on over there and check that out, and I'd count my resources and my bios. I'm like, man, I'm still short because they're expensive, right? So I'm gonna have something like that on my channel, and this will be the first one that's actually added. I have to imagine it's not going to be the last. So let's talk about each of these. Actually, as a matter of fact, hang on, Professor Zilla needs to come up in the house. Got to put the glasses on here. All right, so let's talk about each of these, and we'll talk about kind of just why they're important. Okay, so the first one up there, actually the first two, they're basically the same. It's your card proc, right? And the one is a fist and the other is like an energy blast. And the one with the fist, it's a 20% increase to physical attack for 15 seconds, and the other one is a 20% increase to energy attack for 15 seconds. And unless you have that buff on your card, you'll never see that. So that's only applied to so for instance, here, let me hide that and let's go over to cards here. So if you view card effects, there's these two buffs on the side here, right? The activation rate, 5% chance when attacking, to energy attack, and then the other to physical attack. So that's what those first two are there. And the next one here, so it's, and I try to write it as, a description to the best of my ability here, and then it's just the effect on the right there. So we got the icon, description, and effect, and the third one down, it's actually in the fourth, row there. It's a person standing with arms out with two arrows pointing up, and it's red and black. So I try to give the actual color of it. A lot of them, like I said, they look the same. They look the same, and they're so small. So sometimes it's hard to really detect. And this one's really important. So this is accumulation based on damage dealt. And as a matter of fact, you'll actually see there's two icons for the accumulation. You'll see, so, and you know, I'll actually show you. I'll show you how it's different, and I'm pretty sure it's actually different depending on what character you're using, or at the very least it's different. The description is going to be different. Like Beta Ray Bill's accumulation and like Sentry's accumulation, it's going to say a different thing. If you actually hold your finger on top of the icon, it's going to be called something different. And the same goes for the one right under it. It's accumulation based on damage received. So, you know, characters like Sharon Rogers, like Red She-Hulk, Shadow Shell, all the characters that have the accumulation based on damage received, you're going to see something like, it looks like it's a sword, and it looks like an orange. It looks like a sword cutting into an orange with sun rays behind it. That's what I thought that was. And then next down we have a person standing with arms out with arrows down, red and black. So you see they're very similar, right? It's got the same guy standing there, but then, you know, you kind of have to look at the background there, and it does appear to be a little bit different. And then this one's really important. This is your you know, sometimes the numbers can change depending on the character, right? Like sometimes it's like 30, it's a 30-30 all attack defense, and then sometimes like 1% speed and so on and so forth. But this is your, you know, all attack, all defense, speed and crit rate buff, and it removes incapacitation. Sometimes it doesn't have the crit rate buff, but the icon is actually still the same. All right, next down we have okay, so it's a shield with arrows going through it, and it's yellow and black. Well, it's got one arrow going through it. So this is this is penetration. This is penetration on skills. And then right below that, actually, let me scroll this up here. Right below that, we have, so it looks like a golf ball with sun rays, and it's a yellow and black icon there. It's number 8 there, and that's invincibility, right? That's really important to keep an eye on, you know, for PvP or PvE, right? So this way, you know, when your invincibility's up, and when, you know, you can go ahead and you know, do a certain thing, and all you got to do, you know, it's got the counter on it, so it's got the timer on it, and you'll know when it's actually going to run out. So I think that's really important to keep an eye on. And then right below that, you have a guard hit. So it's a shield with sun rays behind it. It's yellow and black. It seems like a lot of the defense. So the defensive icons are yellow and black, and then the offensive icons are they're red and black. So even though like the accumulation based on damage received, so that one has a yellow and black icon. That's what I'm guessing. That's the way it seems anyways. So, well, I don't know. You have this ignore target dodge rate. I don't know. I'm just kind of putting this together, you know, putting 2 and 2 together. But that's the way it seems. It seems like most of the defensive buffs are actually yellow and black, and the offensive are red and black. Okay, so in any case, okay, so the shield with the sun rays, it's a guard hit for X amount of hits. So it's going to be different depending on the character you're using, and it'll have a number on it, right? So that one has 8 on it. That's an 8. I think that was actually Thor's guard hit on his 3rd skill. I believe it's 8. Okay, and then number 10 here. Number 10, we have, it's a man. He's getting knocked out by a giant fist. Man, I certainly wouldn't want to be that guy getting punched by, I mean, who is that? Who's punching that man with that big old fist? Okay, in any case, this is ignores target dodge rate, and it's gonna be, you know, it's gonna be different for every character. A lot, you know, you'll see this on the awakening skill. So the awakening skills, like you hit that awakening skill, and there's a ton of buffs on it, right? There's just like you get crit rate, crit damage, you get the ignore target dodge rate, you get the, speaking of which, this next one down here, the feather with the sun rays. So it's gonna remove all debuffs for that amount of time for you. Okay, and then this next one here, this one we are seeing more and more of. This is, and you're seeing it, like this is on Rogue's tier 3, it's on Cable's tier 3, it's on Beta Ray Bill's 3rd skill, I believe. So this is it's a sword with sun rays. Okay, so this is really important. I think this is actually something that you actually want to keep an eye on. So this is going to increase your damage by a certain amount for one attack. And it's going to be different depending on what character you're actually using. And So it seems like, so you can actually, so on Cable's tier 3, when you go into, like, if you do his rotation, his 3, 4, 2, tier 3, 5, that icon will still be there. But when you do Rogue's tier 3, it's not there. It disappears once you hit that next skill, even though the timer's still on it, and it says increase it for, increases damage by X amount for one attack. It disappears. But and something I want to say about that is, if you watch my last video, the Rogue video, it was 2 days ago, I put that up, and when I was playing it more in particular with her old uniform, just because the rotation was different, and I was using her 5 after her tier 3, there was a huge bump in her damage. Like, there was a spike, like, it's like the 5, it was with the energy actually, and it wasn't like the 5 was getting proc. I was procking on the tier 3, but hitting the 5 after, and it's like the 5 was actually getting a proc as well. So I'm thinking, this is just my guess, that buff is actually being passed, even though in the video I said, oh, it's not being, I said it was being passed because I thought I saw it, right? They all merged together, but it actually, the icon was disappearing. That's why I wrote on the screen, it's not being passed. But from the look of the damage, it seems like it was actually being passed. So I'm wondering if that's actually just a bug. I'm thinking it might be, and that's something that might get patched. Hopefully that gets brought to the devs' attention. I don't know if they're watching my videos, but if they are, they should fix that. Okay, and then next up we have, so it's a bicep, some dude making a muscle with sun rays, and it's red and black, and this is going to increase attack for a certain percent for a certain amount of time. Okay, and this last one here, this one is the most important in my opinion, because this is the one you actually like have control. You have more control over. This is the one you want to keep an eye on. This is your proc. This is your proc, and regardless if you're playing with a rage, a judgment, or an energy, or just an obelisk, this is one that you want to keep an eye on. This is one that's going to make the most difference in your gameplay. Keeping an eye on your proc, and it's this green one. I have no idea what that is. If anyone knows exactly what that is, it looks like a vest. It looks like a vest to me, and it's green and black. It's the only green and black one. Actually, there could be 3. Actually, there could be more than 3, I believe, because, well, you have your insight. So if you have insight on a character, that's gonna be that. You're gonna have your custom gear, so your CTP, your rage, your energy, and then also you have beat. Like if you have a mighty CTP, you're gonna have your beat down on that. And then I'm pretty sure that if you have all attack, that it's actually just green all the time, or something like it. We'll have to go and check. It slipped my mind right now, but and the interesting thing about this is that I've noticed that the beatdown, so they're not always in the same place. They're not always in the same place. So you actually have to keep an eye on, like if you have beatdown on a character, you have to keep an eye on where it is up there. And an easy way to do it without actually like holding your thumb on it is to notice when you have the bar filled up, and once you hit that first skill, the beatdown activates right away. So you'll notice that, okay, that's the beatdown, and the other one's got to be the proc. Because yeah, I've noticed that they interchange places, which I don't know why they would. It's just make it super confusing for you, but they do interchange places. Okay, so now I want to go into skill preview, and I just want to show you how this actually applies and why some of this is important. Okay, so let's take Cable, and I'm going to charge up his tier 3, and I'm going to show you that buff. So just so here we'll just do his regular rotation here. But yeah, you can see, actually hang on, if I just go here, so you can see the golf ball, right? That's his invincibility. So I think it's important for him, right? Because you're stationary, especially if you're using this uniform and like you're playing Null and you're about to get hit by one of Null's attacks, right? Oh, I did not want to exit that. I hit the wrong button, apparently. Okay, so here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, that golf ball, you know when that's disappearing, right? Okay, so it's gone. I don't have any more invincibility. Let's try it again. Right, we got the invincibility. So I think that's important to keep an eye on. And then, you know, just all your other buffs. You're like, okay, it's all, everything else is running out. All right, now that important one, the where is it? Here we go. Okay, the sword here, right? That sword. I'm gonna try to. Can I highlight this? Yeah. So that one right there. That sword. So that's the buff that's being passed from the tier 3 over to his 5th skill. Pretty sure it is. Anyways. Okay, so you see it's still there. That's how you know that actually got passed, and it's increasing the damage. Now it's gone. Now it's gone. So that's something you want to keep an eye on. Now let's go look. Okay, so I'm going to show you on his skills actually. So it's got increased damage by 45% for 1 attack for 7 seconds. Now if we go to Rogue and we look at her skill, so she actually has increased damage by 100% for 1 attack. Now if the buffs, right, she's got this passive where it increases all buffs effect by 20% and duration by 30, so that should actually increase it. That should increase it even by more, right? 120% for, you know, an additional 30% on. So here, let's just charge that up. Let's charge up her tier 3. I'm spamming her skills here. Okay. So what I was doing, okay, so all right, I'm gonna hit her tier 3 and keep an eye on. Okay, so you see she's got the sword there, right? She's got the sword. I hit okay again. Like an idiot. All right, let's try this again here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We just want to get this charge up and actually, okay. So here, let's hit it, and okay, so there it is. I'm not gonna hit okay this time. All right, so there's a sword, and now when we hit another skill, it should right. It reads the same exact way as Cable's. It reads the same exact way as his. And it should pass to the next skill, right? Why wouldn't it? I'm thinking it's just a bug. So when I hit 5, you see it just disappears. Cables didn't disappear. Cables did not disappear. So I'm thinking it's just a bug because like I said, I saw the damage. The damage was, it seemed like it was there. It was actually happening. It's just that buff effect just went away. But let me show you something else. Actually here, let's go into, I'm going to take her into null so you can see just like all these different buffs that are happening once I hit her awakening rotation. There's so many things going on, so I think it's going to be important for you to know what these mean, so you can just be, you could just be a better player, right? So we do a rotation. Now look at all those buffs. I mean, so there's actually only 2 there. So one's her beatdown that I actually didn't charge up. That's why one's not active there. But if I had insight, there would be 3. There would be 3 of the green and black ones there. But now you could see, okay, so she has that sword as well. She's got the increase to 1 attack. That's, in my opinion, that's going to be a signature buff effect to really powerful characters. I think being able to keep an eye on that sword effect there, because sometimes it could transfer over and sometimes it won't actually transfer over. So if you're doing a rotation and maybe it's not working out for you the way that you see it's like working out for me or other players, that's something that you can keep an eye on to see if that buff is actually transferring over. Actually, you know what? Let me, so I think Moon Knight is actually a good character maybe to demonstrate this with, actually. All right, so Moon Knight, he's another good example of this in another demonstration why that effect is so powerful, right? When all these buffs actually stack on top of each other, that's how you get all this amazing crazy damage, right? So if we do, like, he's got, all right, so here, you know what? Let me pop out of here and I'll just show you. So on his 3rd skill, he has this increased damage by 100% for 1 attack. Now that's gonna pass onto the next skill that you actually hit. I'm pretty sure. Like if we go to Beta Ray Bill, so Beta Ray Bill's, so he has, okay, so he's got the accumulation here, and on his 3rd skill, he's got increased damage for 100% for 1 attack. but it seems like, so the buff just passes. It passes, you know, if you're canceling the skills fast enough, they pass. But I'm pretty sure that that's actually the reason why you want to hit the 3 last. Like, you want to hit the 3 before the 6 skill or before the 4 skill, depending on where you're at with his rotation. Like for Moon Knight, here I'm gonna show you why it's important, you know, for you. So he actually has the same. So if we look at his 6 skill, he's got increased damage for 50% for 1 attack. So all right, let me get out of here and let me just show you. So you pay attention to that sword. So if we do the 3, and we hit the 5, but then we hit the 4, you see the sword actually disappears. So the buff is actually being passed to his 5th skill. That's why it's important to do his skills in the order that you do them, to get all these buffs stacking on top of each other. So you know, right, you do the 3, the 5, and then the 6. Okay, so I think that's basically gonna conclude it. I'm gonna try to make these videos shorter. I think that's gonna be better for everybody involved. Now, some videos, I think like the 20 to 30 minute mark is gonna be good, and I think that's what I'm gonna try to aim for, actually. Although some videos, they just need a little bit more time to do the full testing. Like the video with Rogue, I don't think I couldn't have done that any shorter, really, unless I just didn't do certain things. But I'm gonna try to make these much more digestible for you guys moving forward, make them a little bit shorter. I'm going to try to make them at least under the 30-minute mark, preferably in like the 20 to 25-minute range. But so this is just going to be, you know, maybe, you know, depending on the reaction that I get from the community for this video, I will possibly do another one of these with more, you know, and I'll outline more effects, more buff effects on these. Like maybe I'll try to. I'm gonna add these to this anyways. Either way, and like I said, I'm gonna put this in a channel on my Discord, on the Discord server. It's Godzillinator's Discord server, and I'm gonna leave a link to that in the description on this video, so you know you can have access to it at any time. Also, I got coupon codes. And I think instead of giving them away as like a comment picker, I'm gonna give them away in the Discord server. And what I'll do is I'll pick a time. So on the next video, I'll tell you like between, you know, so maybe like twice throughout the day, just so this way, you know, people with, you know, in different time zones can have access. So I think I'll give away like 5 at one time and another 5 on another time, and then, you know, so on and so forth. But I'll let you know in the video, and it'll probably be like a couple days in advance, and I'll say I'm gonna give them away at this time, and I'll just ping everybody that's in the server, and then this way everybody actually has access to that. So I think that's how I'm gonna do the actual coupon codes. But yeah, depending on the reaction we get from the community from this, I'll maybe do another video highlighting different effects and buffs. And I was thinking even doing, so these are all the buffs and effects that apply to yourself. And then maybe I'll do another one in the future, are the ones that actually apply to enemies, the ones you want to keep, you know, like paralyzed, all defense down, you know, this and that sort of thing. If it seems like there's a lot of players out there that actually aren't aware of this, I do know, and I'm gearing up for this to do like a character building video, because it seems like there's a lot of players out there that just don't know how to build characters properly. As a matter of fact, like every account that I've checked, people, you know, telling me to roast them, there's, you know, they're all over the place, and they're wasting resources. And, you know, now you're at the point where like you have Odin's Blessings on characters that you just shouldn't have them on, with characters with obelisk, characters that just, you know, they're really not good. Now I know there's a power creep and some characters just kind of get phased out, so maybe you had them on them, you know, when they were actually good, but, you know, like on PvP characters and so on and so forth. And now it's a very costly mistake if you actually want to take those off and make use of them, because they're very valuable. Odin's Blessings, they can make and break, you know, certain aspects in the game, you know, for a character. So I think doing a video like that will be beneficial to you guys. I also have a card crafting guide video underway as well. That's something I'll be getting to soon. So if you're not subscribed, I suggest you go on and subscribe. So in any case, I hope this helps some people out. I hope this, you know, allows you to up your game You can maybe, you know, get creative with certain rotations, you know, if you know like where the buffs are, how they are applied, how they transfer from one skill to another. Oh, you know, I did not show you. So real quick, I'll show you the difference in the accumulation. So here, let's take Sentry. He's got accumulation on his second skill. So, and it's Hero's Dash, right? So that's what it's called. So let's preview a skill. And if you actually, oh, you couldn't even see that. Well, it's okay. It's okay. It's on his second skill. It's on this skill here. So you can see with the arrows, right? He's got the accumulation. And now you know how long it's up for. So you can go in other skills and you know like, okay, the accumulation's actually still up. Even though he has a pretty strict rotation. But, and then it's also this right here. So this fist with like the dashes on it, Hero's Dash. So it's actually on 2. You'll see 2 icons for the accumulation. So that's the accumulation on damage dealt, and then on damage received. Like I said, it's that orange, and it's also another icon as well. So you'll see 2 icons for the they have the same timer on them, right? See this Vanguard Lance, it's that bicep with the raise there, and then the orange with the sword. That's you know, the accumulation. So when you know once that disappears, you know it's up for you know 7 more seconds, right? It's 10 seconds. So there's that. Yeah, that's something that I wanted to show you as well. So all right, in any case, that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. And as I mentioned, for the accounts and the roasts, right? The account lookups, I'm gonna leave that for a single video. Maybe one of the next upcoming videos. Like I said, I'm gonna try to do like one of those per week. Yes, sir. So, you better stay tuned for that. You better stay breezy out there. But most of all, friend, you stay safe out there. Peace. God.